For only $30 or £35, the SteelSeries Rival 3 is a feature-packed budget gaming mouse, but it's certainly not for everyone, and I'm going to tell you why in this review. So guys, let's get into this. I just wanted to take a second to tell you guys about the Steam gift card giveaway we're running, with first place being a £10 Steam gift card and then two £4 gift cards for the runners-up. It's international and will be announced in a month's time on our website and our social media. You can enter with the Gleam link in the description. So get subscribed and best of luck to everyone who enters. Let's get on with the video. Although not an important feature of the mouse, the box is your first impression, and for me, I was quite happy with it. It's a nice colourful box, lots of information on the sides if you're buying this in a store or something, and it's very simple. The unboxing experience was quite pleasant too. Inside the box, you simply just get the mouse, well packaged and secured in this cardboard, and an instruction manual. There's no replacement feet or anything, but even mice for twice the price of this that I've had in the past don't include replacement feet, so I cannot blame SteelSeries at all for this. There's a few things you'll notice instantly about the mouse. First of all, it has a symmetrical design. However, since the side buttons are only on the left hand side, it's a right-handed mouse, or semi-ambidextrous at best. Next, you'll notice it's very small. It's a particularly small mouse. Those of you with larger hands will probably want to steer clear of this mouse unless you like a small mouse, or anyone who's just not a fan of really small mice. Here's a comparison of it next to a Zowie EC1A, which is a particularly large mouse, and a Logitech G502. As soon as you pick this mouse up, you realise how light it is. It's just 77 grams. And while not for everyone, some people do like a heavier mouse, and obviously for a $30 mouse there are no adjustable weights in the bottom, anything you can add. I do really like a lightweight mouse, and it does still feel fairly premium and good quality, and like SteelSeries has used good materials, even though they've kept the weight down. The shape of this mouse is very much something to consider, and could be why this mouse isn't for you. And it certainly won't be for a lot of people. So SteelSeries do only say this mouse is for claw and fingertip grips, and that's very much true. So I tried palming the mouse and I did not find it very comfortable, and I have small hands. It was acceptable but not great, and people with bigger hands are going to have no chance using this mouse with a palm grip. So if you use the palm grip, or you're not sure about what grip you use and you're still trying to figure it out, I wouldn't buy this mouse. I wouldn't recommend it for that. However, if you do use claw or fingertip grip, because it's designed for that and not trying to cater to different types of grip, it was very good. It really helped my aim, and I did really enjoy using it. The performance of this mouse was very impressive, especially given the price. The SteelSeries used their own optical sensor, the TrueMove Core, which they claim has 1-to-1 tracking, 1000 Hz polling rate, and a CPI range of 100 to 8500, which is more than enough and controlled in the SteelSeries software, which we'll talk about later. I found the sensor to be very accurate, responsive and precise, so I was very impressed with that. It was much better than I expected for a $30 mouse, so props to SteelSeries there. The only issue I did have with it was the lift-off distance, so it was a little bit high, and repositioning the mouse on the mouse mat, I did experience a bit of cursor jiggle, which is actually a big deal in games. Now, I did get used to this with it being a light mouse, just lifting it off a bit further, but it is definitely something to consider. For comparison, this mouse still tracked at a height of 8 playing cards. That's almost double the Zowie EC1A, which would only track up to 5 playing cards, and almost triple the G502, which wouldn't track any higher than 3 playing cards. Back to a positive note, I thought the primary mouse buttons were amazing, the left and right click. I felt they just took the right amount of force to activate. They were very responsive. They didn't really have any give before you pressed them, and they just feel very good. Here's a little sound test of the left click, the right click. The scroll wheel has a nice rubber feel to it. I'm not a huge fan of how sunk down into the mouse it is. It makes it a bit cumbersome to scroll web pages, as you don't get a lot of range of motion. However, in games, each individual scroll is very clear and distinct. I don't double scroll a lot by accident, which is much appreciated, and people don't really appreciate how important a good scroll wheel is on a mouse. So for this price point, I'm very impressed with what SteelSeries has done. Here's a quick sound test of the scroll and the click. This mouse has 3 other buttons, bringing the total up to 6. A button between the mouse clicks, which defaults to a DPI changer, but you can program it to whatever you want in the SteelSeries software, which we'll take a look at in a second. I personally don't really use this button, but there's nothing wrong with it. It activates quite nicely. Where I feel this mouse is let down is the 2 side buttons. They're quite important, and I use them a lot playing games. They're thin and sharp, which while I prefer a larger button, there's nothing wrong with it, and it's easy to find where they are. However, when you do need to press them, they require way too much force in my opinion. Sometimes it even feels like there's a delay in activating them, simply because you have to put so much force, which I really don't like, and I wish SteelSeries had just made them a little bit easier to press. It would have made this mouse a lot better. Although not a braided cable, the rubber cable is of good quality, and I much prefer it to a cheap braided cable which is going to curl up and fray. This one, from 10cm away, I can push the cable and it doesn't move the mouse, so your table, mouse mat or whatever isn't going to push back. I personally used it in a mouse bungee and it worked great, so big props to SteelSeries for not using a cheap braided cable and are using a good quality rubber cable. There are 3 feet on the bottom of the mouse, 2 dots at the front and a larger U-shaped foot at the rear. I found them to be very smooth and glide easily across the mouse mat. I had no issue with them and they seem to be fairly high quality feet, so although none are included in the box, they seem like they'll last a long time, which is quite good, especially considering the cheap price of this mouse. To do any sort of customization with this mouse, you're going to have to download the SteelSeries Engine software off their website. I found it to be easy to install and relatively simple to use, and importantly offers a huge range of customization, from everything for the button programming, sensitivity and these RGB lights. The RGB lights are very vibrant, they look great even in daytime, and you can customise them across the 3 separate zones. There is such a huge range of options. Some of them in the software are a bit fiddly, but once you play around with them and get what you want, it does work well and it looks very, very good. So for a $30 mouse, the RGB looks great and it will look great in your setup if that's what's important to you. If not, you can completely disable the LEDs in the software. Overall, SteelSeries being a big brand and using the same software for their other mice is a great plus because 1, these RGBs look great as I said, and 2, the software makes it very easy to customise the mouse and it makes it feel a lot more premium than its $30 price tag. Overall, SteelSeries have done a great job. If you like a small light mouse and you use claw or fingertip grip, I'd definitely check it out. However, if you're a palm user or you like a slightly larger or heavier mouse, then I can't recommend it and I would steer clear. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more content. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.